I have been an Android user for the last 10 years, but a few months ago, Apple released the first iPhone that got me excited. The iPhone 13 Pro Max. It has a ton of features, but the key features that got me excited are the bigger display, bigger cameras, literally right here, and the big battery, which are all very important to me. Hey guys, welcome to the Jaycee Daily Channel. I'm Jaycee, and today we're going to be talking about my experience of using the iPhone 13 Pro Max for the last 2 months, coming from a long history of using Android. This video is going to be longer than usual, so I will leave some time codes in the description so you can skip ahead to the parts that matters the most to you. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't always a fan of Apple, but from the past year or so, I have been very impressed with what they are doing, especially with the Apple Silicon called M1. The iPhone 13 series in general was also getting a good response from the Apple community, and it was just a perfect timing because I was in the market in getting a new smartphone. I mainly use my phone for productivity such as note-taking, emails, and I also do a lot of media consumption like watching YouTube or Netflix. Something I have noticed is I have been taking a lot more photos and videos than I used to. We'll get to this later in the video. The build quality. It's an all-glass front and a textured glass back that sandwich a stainless steel frame. The color of the frame matches the glass on the back. The buttons are tactile, and something new to me is at least the silent switch. The button placement is something I still need to get used to even after using this for over 2 months. I always get accidental screenshots when trying to lock the phone because the volume buttons and the lock button are on the same level. I'm 5'9" tall and I can barely hold the iPhone 13 Pro Max with one hand. Most operations would require you to use 2 hands. One change Apple can do to iOS to improve the user experience that would benefit every phone, but more so the big display phones like the iPhone 13 Pro Max, is to make the swipe to go back feature available on both sides of the display. Right now, I can only go back if I swipe from left to right, which is fine if you're left-handed because you can reach it with your thumb, but for right-handed people, it's just hard to reach the left side of the screen. You always gotta use the other hand to go back. One thing that bothered me a lot before I got this phone was the infamous notch. After using this for a while, you just completely forget that it's there, and it becomes invisible to the eye as you're doing whatever you're doing. That said, I absolutely love the display on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is a 6.7 OLED display that produces great colors, has a peak brightness of up to 1000 nits, and can reach up to 1200 nits on HDR. Paired with these good speakers, this makes watching videos really enjoyable. The speakers on the iPhone 13 Pro Max is loud and it does not get distorted even when maxed out. I rarely put the volume on max when indoors because it's just really loud and I only go around 70 to 80% most of the time. Apple may not be the first to introduce high refresh rates on phones, but their first attempt at using the LTPO on their ProMotion displays is, in my opinion, the way to go. LTPO display allows for a hardware-level true variable refresh rate that can switch from different refresh rate instantly. Keyword here is instantly. For example, when you're watching a 24 FPS video, the display will be at 24 Hz. If you're reading and not moving the screen, it can go as low as 10 Hz. Then if you start moving around like scrolling, clicking, it instantly switches to 120 Hz to give you that buttery smooth user experience. It was implemented on the 2021 iPad Pro as well that had a range of 24 to 120 Hz. The iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max got an improved version that can go for as low as 10 Hz and up to 120 Hz to further improve battery life. The performance of the A15 Bionic chip is phenomenal. I haven't had any issues with the performance whatsoever since I got this phone. Opening apps just feels instant and moving around just overall feels snappy. I don't really play games on my phone, but after testing a few games around, everything feels smooth and responsive. Plus, having the game run at 120 Hz just felt amazing in general. The A15 Bionic chip is also what makes key features of the iPhone 13 series possible, like better photo post-processing, better videos and ProRes, a high refresh rate interface, and more. It's also efficient. Again, that contributes to a better battery life. Speaking of battery life, we got a bigger battery. It is now 4,352 milliamp hours, which can charge up to 50% in just 30 minutes. That's with a 20-watt charger that is not included when you buy this phone, by the way. A 75,000 phone with no charger. I know, it's crazy. That said, I gotta give credit where credit is due. The LTPO display, the efficiency of the A15 Bionic chip, and the iOS integration, and a bigger battery life, all of Apple's improvements stack up to make the iPhone 13 Pro Max the best smartphone of 2021 when it comes to battery life, which is unheard of. Well, for an iPhone. I usually finish the day with 50% battery, and that's already with 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. I can literally use this phone for 2 days before needing to charge. You don't have to take my word for it. This is what Marquez has to say.
Now that being said, our winner this year is the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is the battery experience king. So again, something Apple did with their iPhones this year is bump up the overall size and weight of their phones to include a physical.
Besides the A15 Bionic chip, Apple also gave the iPhone 13 series a similar primary and an ultra-wide camera. You get the same image quality regardless of what model you choose. Apple has increased the size of the camera modules and the apertures in the iPhone 13 series compared to the last year, which in theory means it should be able to take better photos, especially in low light. Both iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max has LiDAR scanners that helps nail the focus even in low light. Apple also introduced what they call sensor shift, but this is commonly known as IBIS or in-body image stabilization. They have put it on their primary camera, and this is new to the smartphone world but has been common on the mirrorless cameras. All of that features basically means that the camera bump is also bigger, and it shows. Even with a case, it still rocks when placed on a table. That said, the photos look really good, especially in outdoor scenarios where there's a lot of light. The images are sharp, crisp, and the colors are more natural than most phones I have tried. Even in difficult lighting scenarios, the cameras manage to create an image with good dynamic range. The night mode on the iPhone 13 series camera system is also good compared to just taking photos in the dark with no night mode on. As expected, the primary cameras performs best in all scenarios when compared to the telephoto and the ultra-wide on difficult lighting scenarios. The telephoto kinda cheats a bit when it comes to difficult lighting situations, as it uses the primary camera and it just crops in to get a better image or video. I literally only used the macro once. It was when I was selling my watch and had to show the moving parts in the ad for a post I'm making. It was actually really cool. But besides that, I never really found a scenario or a use case for it again. The ultra-wide, on the other hand, is my second most used camera on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It helps to get more into frame when I am on a tight space, or just want to show more of the surroundings when I'm outside. Let's not forget about the feature-packed front-facing camera that has all the features from the rear camera system. I honestly didn't expect to get the ProRes on the front camera, but it's there. When taking photos, you get two options. You get standard and wide, but when you switch to video, that option disappears and you just get a wide field of view. I like that the front camera is wider than usual. It makes taking photos with groups much easier to fit in a frame. Apple also introduced a new feature in the camera app called photographic styles. These are basically filters you can apply directly on the photos you take. It has some level of customizability. You can adjust the tone and brightness of a filter depending on what looks best for you. This feature is cool, but I just shoot standard and edit them later if I need to. The photos straight out of the iPhone 13 series are good, but if you want to take it to the next level and edit your photos in post, you can shoot photos in RAW with Apple's ProRes. Just like the photos, the videos also look good on the iPhone 13 series. You get a crisp image, a good dynamic range, and natural colors with great stabilization. The new in-body image stabilization, or IBIS, really helps with taking smooth videos by compensating for the shakes and the bumps that you might get while shooting handheld. If you plan to mostly take videos with your phone, the iPhone 13 series are some of the best options out there. It can record 4K up to 60 FPS and slow motion on HD up to 240 FPS. Plus a bunch of features like cinematic mode and time-lapse which can be done on all of the cameras, including the front camera. I really like using the ultra-wide on the iPhone 13 Pro Max when vlogging, as it gives me a wider field of view and I don't have to worry that much about framing. With just a few accessories added, this could easily be one of the best on-the-go vlogging setups you can find. Overall, I really like the cameras on the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, and I'm pretty sure this is the same with all the iPhone 13 series. The storage that I got for the iPhone 13 Pro Max is the 256GB version for a specific reason: to try out ProRes, which is not available on the base 128GB model. If you're not familiar with ProRes, it is one of the most popular video formats for professional use because it captures the most information, which is very helpful in post-production. It gives the most flexibility for color grading and color correction without worrying too much about breaking the video. The question ultimately is, should you shoot ProRes on your iPhone? Even on a 250GB storage, it can only record up to 30 minutes of ProRes footage, which is barely enough for vlogs or even family videos. Sure, you could go get a 1TB model for up to 2 hours of recording time, but that's not where the problem ends. Once you're done shooting and you have the footage, you have to ingest it on your computer to use it, and that's where the biggest problem lies. The latest iPhone, for some reason, still uses a USB 2.0, which is really slow. Transferring a 30-minute ProRes videos, which will be around 256 gigs from your phone to your computer, will take approximately an hour and 16 minutes. For that reason alone, even if this phone produces video quality that is on the same level as an expensive mirrorless camera, the transfer time is just not feasible for most people with sane workflows. If it's not obvious enough, then no. I don't like shooting ProRes on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. I just shoot on a regular video at 4K 30 or 4K 60 depending on what I need, and that's it. As of editing this video, iOS 15.3 has just been released, so we get to see what the iOS 15.4 beta would look like. There are a ton of features, but I want to focus specifically on the Face ID improvements that it's going to be shipping with. They added a feature for Face ID with mask, and that's really an improvement compared to what we have right now. Unfortunately, there's no specific release date yet, but do expect it at around mid-February to late February. That said, I still think some of the arguments I made in this video, specifically about having a fingerprint reader on the iPhone 13 series, was a missed opportunity, and let's get back to the video to discuss that part. So let's go. I think this is a missed opportunity to implement under-display fingerprint sensors, which already matured to the point that it's now as fast as standard fingerprint readers. Even a side fingerprint reader would have been nice on the iPhone 13 series. They're already doing this on the iPads, so why not on the iPhones? That said, despite some of the drawbacks mentioned in this video, there is no arguing that as an overall package, the iPhone 13 Pro Max is a great phone. Everything is fast, you get generous all-day battery life, and a camera that lets you capture moments with ease. Plus, you get up to 5 years of software updates for iOS, which is not something you get on most Android phones. Do I recommend it? If you have the money and you can afford it, go for it. This is one of the best phones you can buy right now as of the recording on this video. And that's my long-term review of the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Thank you for watching until the end. This video took longer than expected to make, so I really appreciate it if you share this with your friends or social media. If you like this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload new videos. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, or if you have any questions or suggestions, just leave them down below. That's it for today. See you guys on the next one.